Leverkusen were coming into their home tie with Augsburg, knowing that they were 8 points behind the current leaders, Munich. They just had to win, basically, in order to go deep into match day 32 and potentially beyond. So all they had to do was win this game at home. Now, they were coming into it not in the best form. Leverkusen having drawn their last two games. There was a 0-0 at home to Union Berlin. Yeah, Florian WIRTZ did come on for 25-30 minutes. And then they drew 1-1 away at St. Pauli. That's in a game where VAR also saved Xabi Alonso's blushes, which meant that, yeah, there was an 8-point difference. So they just had to win this game. Augsburg, well, they were coming off the back of a 2-game unbeaten streak. Augsburg having won on match day 29, 2-1 away to Bochum. And then last time out was a 0-0. That was at home to the Eagles, to Frankfurt. So again, Augsburg and Jess Thorup, well, they needed the points in order to try and make it a respectable end to the season. Feels like Europa League, even the Conference League, is just going to be beyond them. These were the two starting lineups. As you can see, change of keeper for this one for Leverkusen. No Hudrecki this time. There was Kovar was in goal. It's a 4-2-4 effectively for Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen. Grimaldo as a wing back. Arthur on the right. A centre back pairing of Edmund Tapsoka and Jonathan Tah. Just a side note, lots of rumours starting to swirl in the German press and the likes of Bild and other journalists like Manu and Stefan from Gegenpressing Pod. And the Bayern View picked up on this one that Jonathan Tah might well be heading to Munich in the summer. Anyway, Tapsoka and Tah. Ta-ta! Sorry. That was your centre-back period. A double pivot of Granit Xhaka alongside Robert Andrich, having a rare start. And then that attacking quartet. On the right, Nathan Teller, ex-Burnley, of course, used to play for the big-brained one, Vincent Kompany. On the left, it's not a lady, is it? Emilia or Emi Buendia, formerly of Aston Villa, on the left. And then Florian WIRTZ playing off Patrick Schick. And yeah, Leverkusen did what they needed to do, and that was win the game. Although similar to Munich's game with Mainz, where if Johnny Burkout would have scored early on, it could have been a very different game. Samuel Asende had a chance after 7 or 8 minutes where he broke free, was going one-on-one at the back with the Leverkusen defence. I believe that might well have been Grimondel, not Grimondi, he's ex-Arsenal. In he comes though. Old Gilles Grimondi. No. Anyway, Asende put his shot over the bar. It was quite a tame effort in the end. I don't know how he managed to spoon it without any pace. And as it was, then Leverkusen they just dominated the game from that point onwards. There was an assist, as we can see here, from Nathan Teller. That was his third assist of the season. He fed... Well, actually, I think it started off with Florian WIRTZ in the middle of the park. He found Teller on the wide on the right. Teller attacked, dragged the ball back inside, and it was literally just on the edge of the 18-yard box. And then Patrick Schick with a thunderbolt, which if you look closely, there are two Augsburg defenders sort of coming together. Krislan Matt Tiesmer and Cedric Zeisiger. They both kind of come together, and this thunderbolt of a shot from Schick just catches Matt Siemer, and that means that that change in trajectory sends the ball over the top of a despairing Finn Darmond, who's, again, potentially could be Germany's number one goalkeeper in the future. 1-0 could have become 2-0. There was a shout from the home fans in the Bayer Arena for a penalty. Frank Onyeki, formerly of Brentford in the Premier League. There was, it actually did look like he'd just pushed Grimaldo just out of the way, so he couldn't quite connect with the ball. Anyway, the ball sort of cleared, but not far enough. And it's that man, ex-Aston Villa, Buendia, who picks it up and with a rather deft few touches manages to curl the ball beyond a diving, good old classic Weetabix dive. If you're old enough, then you'll get that reference. Beyond a dive from Finn Darman to make it 2-0, and that's pretty much how the game finished. The only notable piece of action I wanted to bring up was that on the 56th minute, Elvis did indeed leave the building. That's right. Elvis Rechbecker, the attacking midfielder for Augsburg, was subbed off for Mert Kermer, the Turkish/German. It was just a funny. Anyway, what was our prediction going into that game? Let's just take a quick look at that. Well, again, we had this down as being a draw, which would, in theory, have meant that the gap between Leverkusen and Munich would have been 9-10 points with 3 games to go, meaning that it would have been all over, right? And they could have parted in the Allianz, because a 10-point gap and only 3 games to go, only 9 points available. It could have been good night Vienna, or the equivalent. The equivalent in German. Good night Munich, sweetheart. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, well, it didn't happen, did it? It wasn't 1-1, thankfully. Leverkusen won that game 2-0. As you can see here, which drags the game and the title into the following weekend, into match day 32, in a game again that we covered with Munich, where Harry Kane, even if Munich do win and Leverkusen drop more points, well, Harry Kane won't actually be on that pitch to celebrate because of a suspension. What has that done to the table? Well, again, as we've just talked about, that's the impact for Leverkusen. They remain 8 points still trailing Munich, 8 points trailing Munich, with a potential 9 points still on the board because there's 3 games left. And for Augsburg, well, they're down in 10th, no movement really. They're still on 43 points. Again, 6th place, which is currently occupied by Dortmund. That is the holy grail for a team like Augsburg and even Stuttgart, but it feels like Stuttgart have still got a DFB Pokal final against a Dritte Liga side in Arminia Bielefeld. That's how Stuttgart could qualify for Europe. It's not going to happen this year, so let's draw a line under it. So anyone from Augsburg upwards could still potentially get into Europe next year for the Conference League. Just seems like it's going to be slightly beyond them. Anyway, an 8-point gap between Leverkusen and Munich keeps the title race alive. It means we've got some more content to make with some drama in the coming weeks. Or it could be a week. Anyway. Next.